Right, it is February 20th, 2022. I'm at SERA round 1 in Meridian, Mississippi. This is a sprint enduro format. We got 2 tests today. We'll do 3 loops on each test. Starting out pretty cold this morning. It's about 32 degrees right now. I think it's supposed to warm up to the upper 50s, maybe low 60s, so actually should be pretty good conditions for racing. My arm is still healing from the hit I took last week at SERA round 1, so we'll see how that holds up today. I'm hoping it holds up well and I can finish all 6 tests. This is test 1, loop 1. This race is at Meridian OHV, which is always a great place to race. The terrain is very sandy. It doesn't look that way here, but you'll see that a little later in the video. This first test starts off in some great wood single track. Now at this point I'm trying to assess how my right arm feels. If you saw last week's video, I got hit in my right bicep by a cut off branch, and it's been giving me some trouble all week. I think the bruising caused some major inflammation in my arm because I was having a lot of pain all the way down into my hand. I haven't ridden the bike at all since then, except for putting around in the parking lot when I got here, so I guess there's no better way to test it out than to hit the race course. I am feeling some pain on the hits, but I'm encouraged already I might be able to finish at least 1 test. They've done a great job of laying out the course with lots of arrows and ribbon, and so far this test is flowing really well. Attendance is great today. There are well over 200 in the adult classes. I'm riding in the C40 plus class, and we've got 14 riders in that class. The weather is great with sunny skies and mild temperatures. I'm starting to get into some of the sand whoops now, and this is definitely not one of my strengths in dirt bike riding, but my arm's feeling okay. At this point I'm thinking, okay, I just need to stop worrying about my arm and ride. This is another section that's very deep, powdery sand. For me, it's always easier to go uphill in deep sand. Right here, the course takes a left turn and starts going downhill. I just haven't figured out how to go downhill in deep sand very well. When the weight transfers to the front, I get squirrely. Here's another downhill section. More sand whoops. The video just doesn't do a good job of showing how big these things are. This area is called Headlight Hill, but they're sending us down it on the switchback path. Caught up to a friend of mine, Brent Bradley. He's also in the C40 plus class, starting on the row in front of me. He only recently started racing, and he's doing great. Thank you. There goes Cade Copeland in the A-Light class. I completed the first 6-mile test with a time of 17 minutes 45 seconds, and somehow I'm in first place in my class. I'm about 30 seconds ahead of Ted and about a minute ahead of Brent. After a quick water break in the pits, it's time for test 2, loop 1. Now this test is very similar to the first test, but it's got a few more open areas and it's a little bit shorter. I think this one's about 5.5 miles. In this sprint enduro format, we have 2 tests. We'll run each test 3 times for a total of 6 time sections. And as usual, the lowest cumulative time wins. We're getting in some really deep powdery sand again, and this trail leads to an area they call the desert. This is the area they call the desert. There's Tyler Trammell going by on the left there. He's in the AA class. Now I know what I should be doing here. I should be standing up, leaning back, and on the gas to power through the sand. But that's easier said than done when you're a tired old man with a noodle for a ride on. Finally out of the desert and back in some good trails. I really enjoyed this part of Test 2. It was fast and flowy and fun. At the end of Test 2, they had this area called the sand pit. They ribbon it off for races kind of like grass track, but it's a red sand track. It looks like red dirt, but it's not. It's definitely sand. My right arm was a noodle, and I think this is the worst I've ever ridden in the sand pit. At the end of Test 2, Loop 1, I'm still in first in my class with a cumulative time of 35 minutes, 35 seconds. Brent Bradley fell to 5th, while Matt's moved up to 3rd and quickly gaining on Ted. Now it's back to Test 1 for my second loop. Right there's one of the course workers, and he's going to jump in behind me here. I'm not sure who that was, but I knew they were doing some follow cam stuff here, and I thought he might have a GoPro, so that gave me a little motivation that I needed right here at the beginning of Test 1, Loop 2. Alright, he stopped to check on Brent, so pressure's off now. I don't think he actually had a camera anyway. At the end of Test 1, Loop 2, I've managed to make it halfway through the race, and I'm still in first place in my class with a cumulative time of 54 minutes, 6 seconds. Matt Ward is making moves and has jumped up ahead of Ted now and is only 52 seconds behind me. More of the same for Test 2, Loop 2. I'm My arm's really turning into a noodle now, but I'm 2/3 through the race. I'm still in first place with a cumulative time of 1 hour, 12 minutes, 39 seconds. Matt gained about 15 seconds on me and is now only 35 seconds behind me. For the last 2 loops, I went into survival mode, and you can really see that in the times. I was getting really sloppy and decided I would just try to stay on 2 wheels with a decent finish. Second round 2 is just 6 days after this race at the same location, so I really need to be back to 100% for that race. Matt kept a fast pace and was able to get ahead of me in those last 2 loops. Congratulations to Matt on the win, and I'm really happy I was able to complete this entire race. That definitely gave me confidence that I can ride well for second round 2. Huge thanks to SERA, the Meridian Motorcycle Association, and all the volunteers that made the event possible. If you enjoy the race recap videos, please let me and YouTube know that by hitting the like button. That really helps me out. Look out for videos for second round 2 very soon, and thanks for watching.